Shalom. I'm going to be reading out of the book of Esther today, but let's start with a prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. We enter into your courts with an open heart. Jehovah Sabaoth, we enter into your courts with thanksgiving and praise. Thanksgiving for all that you've done for us. Thanksgiving for this day. It is Adar, the 14th on the Hebrew God's calendar, 5780. And the Hebrew people are celebrating the book of Esther, and they're remembering their past, what could have been. So I will just read a moment from Esther chapter 4:13. Mordecai told them to reply to Esther with this answer: Do not think in your soul that you will escape in the king's household more than all the Jews. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Who knows whether you have attained royal status for such a time as this? So Mordecai, who was under the king at the time, had put out a decree for all the Jewish people to be killed in the area, in the land, because Mordecai was not bowing down and giving honor to Haman. So Haman got furious with this. He wasn't showing him any honor, he was not bowing his knee to Haman. So, because Esther was hidden, the meaning that the king did not know she was Jewish, she had known and heard about the decree, and of course wanted and needed to put a stop to it. So she prepared 2 banquets, one after the other, and invited the king and Haman to attend. During one of the banquets, she told the king in front of Haman that the decree had gone out to all the land, that all the kings, all the Jews, anyone should be exterminated. And Esther said to the king that these are my people. And the king said to Esther, who would do such a thing? Who has put out this decree? And Esther said to the king, Haman here. And so, of course, the king ordered Haman to be hung on the gallows that Haman had prepared for Mordecai. So because of this situation, it was all because Mordecai would not bow his knee and not give honor to Haman. So the reason why is because Mordecai was saying that he would only bow his knee to God, his Adonai. Mordecai would only give honor and bow his knee to his Adonai and not to Haman. So Jehovah Sabaoth was showing me that there is no coincidence at this time that the United Kingdom yesterday was celebrating their anniversary of all of the countries under the Commonwealth. And God has shown me that these countries were going to come against Israel, and also the United Kingdom will be coming against Israel. And God also showed me last year that there was not going to be a Brexit, and that he was taking down the kings and the queens of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth countries, and also the European countries. And the main reason he told me was because they were going to the Pope. They go every year to Rome and give an audience to the Pope, bow their knees, honor him every year, is what they do. And God told me he did not want them going to honor the Pope, to bow their knee to the Pope. He wanted them to honor him and to put him first. So there's no coincidence that these two dates are coming together with Adar 14, 2020 on the Roman calendar, the 10th of March 2020 on the Roman calendar, and it's the 14th of Adar 5780 on the Hebrew calendar. There is no coincidence these two things are coming together. Also, last year in December 2019, the United Kingdom banned Franklin Graham from preaching his 7 sermons all over the UK. He was banned completely from preaching his sermons because God also has told me that there is no free speech in England. There never was, and there certainly isn't now, God is telling me. So because of the banning, they then had 3 huge storms come about, one after the other, and flooded so many areas of the United Kingdom. Scotland, Wales, most of the United Kingdom, and also Ireland. 3 back-to-back storms. And then they have the coronavirus still going on. And in the middle of all of that, the Prime Minister put out a news bulletin that he and his girlfriend were expecting a baby and he was getting engaged to her. So that was that for the United Kingdom. Also, God has shown me that December the 30th, 2019, China did come together with the Pope and the bishops of Rome to sign under the United Nations a treaty, a new law, creating a new world religion, December the 30th, 2019, China came together with the Pope and the bishops of Rome to create this new world religion. And that is the reason why God told me that the coronavirus quickly spread amongst China and Italy, and now mostly all of Italy is shut down because of the coronavirus. God has told me he is not happy. He is not happy with everything that is going on in the world. And that he asks us to walk in his ways, that he will direct our paths, acknowledging the Torah, the Old Testament, all of his ways, so that we can walk the narrow path towards Yeshua HaMashiach, our Jesus Christ, our Lord, our Prince. We can follow him. I'm just going to read from Ephesians 4:17. So I tell you this, indeed I insist on it, and in the Lord. Walk no longer as the pagans do, stumbling around in futility of their thinking. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance in them due to the hardness of their hearts. Since they are past feeling, they have turned themselves over to the indecency for the practice of every kind of immorality, with greed for more. However, you did not learn Messiah in this way. If indeed you have heard him and were taught in him, as the truth is in Yeshua, with respect to your former lifestyle, you are to lay aside the old self, corrupted by its deceitful desires. Be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and put on the new self, created to be like God, in true righteousness and holiness. So lay aside lying, and each one of you speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry, yet do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, nor give the devil a foothold. The one who steals must steal no longer. Instead, he must work, doing something useful with his own hands, so he may have something to share with the one who has need. Let no harmful word come out of your mouth, but only what is beneficial for building others up according to the need, so that it gives grace to those who hear it. Do not grieve the Ruach HaKodesh of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Get rid of all bitterness and rage and anger, and quarreling and slander, along with all malice. Instead, be kind to one another, compassionate, forgiving each other, just as God in Messiah also forgave you. I just had to come on today to, hopefully this gave you a word of encouragement that Yeshua HaMashiach is on the throne. He is ruling and reigning with Jehovah Shabbat, the Father, the King of all kings. He is on the throne. He has everything under control. He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So we cannot focus on the world. We just have to keep our eyes focused on our Prince of Peace. He will bring us his peace to our heart and will guide us through all of this. But it does show us that God is working. All his words are coming to pass. We are living in the end times, and He has everything under control. So I'll just leave with this last prayer. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift His face to shine upon you. May the Lord lift His countenance upon you and give you His peace, His shalom. Eyeh Esher.